Hi, this is Randy Wicker reporting from Gay Expo. Today I have the pleasure of talking to Mr. Danforth Prince, who is the publisher of Bloodmoon Productions, which has a blockbuster of a book that's going to be released in just a few days, and I think we're having the first opportunity to talk to him about it.
We're about to publish the world's first biography since 1992 of Michael Jackson. The cover of the book looks like this. We'll be releasing it on the 1st of April. And why we are proud of this book is because we as a small press have seen the historical importance of the Michael Jackson phenomenon. We believe that his fame and his importance as a sociological icon goes way, way, way beyond his music. What we have tried to do is compile into one book the arguments for and against Michael, for the rise from obscurity and his fall from grace. We view Michael Jackson, frankly, as an object of greater interest than that generated merely by his music and by his entertainment power. We view his saga as illuminatory of the American experience in general, in a way that was configured at the end of the 1990s in a way that never happened before and will never happen again. Well, to arrive at this book, we had to distill through as many written sources about Michael Jackson as we could. There are 425,000 websites associated with Michael Jackson. and
you're telling me you went to each one?
No. We tried to skim the ones that had to do with points of view about Michael's life and his image, rather than that to do specifically with his music. What does it illuminate about America? How quickly one can rise, how desperately one can fall.
But it's much more than that. I mean, you have here a lot of, you say the sequin-covered gloves come off, and so does the mask. And you talk about various incidences in his life that Liberace's former boyfriend, you know, who describes a dinner in which the pianist gave for young Michael, and his special guest, Mae West. And then you go on talking about Michael's, was it true, Michael's attempt to purchase the bones of Marilyn Monroe for display within a museum?
The incident that you just mentioned was Michael's attempt to purchase the bones of Marilyn Monroe and to build a museum around those bones for paid admission for tourists to Hollywood. A macabre, ghoulish idea where the bones would be displayed in a case.
Was it really, he really tried that?
He very, very much did. The idea fell through when, I don't quite remember, the deal fell through as did his attempt to buy, I think, the body of the Elephant Man from a hospital in London.
Talk about the stormy relationship between Jacko and his dream girl, Diana Ross.
Oh,
and then Miss Ross caught the very talented young Michael in her dress, imitating her voice and movements in front of a full-length dress mirror at her home in Los Angeles.
It is indeed true, yes. That is what we were told. That is what was published in previous sources about Michael trying on the dress of Miss Ross in her home in Los Angeles. And
what age was that? Do you have any idea?
I think he was 11 or 12, I believe. I don't quite recall. The value of this book lies not in any one anecdote being unique and told for the first time. Every anecdote in this book has indeed been published in some source before and commented on by people more skilled than us. But we have compiled it into a logical, coherent train of events which come to a 542-page book, which is the first chronological layout of all the episodes that we have ever seen published about Michael Jackson. Therein lies its value. It's a coherent biography.
Including the legal troubles and the various boys that were paid off, and the one that recently tried to sue, and you say is now working, got nothing, and is working at a fast food joint in Los Angeles. The latest big supposed scandal that proved not to be of any substance.
That is indeed some of the explorations which this book goes into in great detail. Allegedly the money that was paid to cover up incidents such as that, and allegedly the outcome. All that we are doing is laying out other more expert witnesses' testimony in issues of this nature.
Why is it Michael Jackson, who's one of the most famous people in the world, you say this is the first biography of him that's been done since 1992. I mean, is it a thing that everyone's scared to death that any wrong word may end up in a legal suit? Because previously we were talking about how your company is reinventing the biography of famous people, but in most cases they're deceased when you do so, so it minimizes the chances of lawsuits?
A very, very good question. This is Bloodmoon's first attempt to write a biography of a living star. This is Bloodmoon's first attempt to write a biography of a pop star. We've published 4 biographies, all by noted writer Darwin Porter, of Golden Age movie stars. Marlon Brando was the most recent and the most widely critiqued.
Weren't they serialized in the London Times?
3 were serialized in the Mail on Sunday, and 1 was serialized in the London Sunday Times. Those raunchier stories, those more sexual stories, those sometimes gay and lesbian stories, which previously weren't published for liability reasons or for reasons of accepted good publishing tastes. We believe that Bloodmoon, through the good reception these biographies have gotten in the press, has set new ground in determining what's acceptable or even what's desirable within a celebrity biography. And we're very grateful for the press and how good it's been to us on that.
Be put out in just 7 days?
It will be available for purchase on April 1st. And
through
Amazon.com has it, and www.bloodmoonproductions will sell it. And I believe that there'll be some orders in some of the big chains as well, and in any liberal bookstore that believes that this is an important historical tract. There's always the danger when one publishes something as edgy as what Bloodmoon is becoming known for doing. I am a mere instrument for transmitting this information onto the public. I don't mean to be disingenuous, but there's always a danger. And we believe, what we hope, is that the attempts we made to present a fair and unbiased overview of the Michael Jackson experience will weigh in our favor for any attempt to suppress it on the part of any allegedly injured parties. We really have tried to approach the Michael Jackson phenomenon with a sense of certainly good taste and charity.
I notice that you say that there's a rumor that he wants "Don't judge me" on his tombstone, but the way you phrase it, it sounds like it's sort of gossip rather than a real statement of fact.
I believe that what do I believe about Michael Jackson? He has been more maligned, in a more widespread and in a more devastating way than any entertainment in the history of media. I think that he's broken new ground as to the negative things, often allegedly negative things, that
and the assumptions. I mean, there are all kinds of really obscene, sick comments and jokes and everything made about Michael Jackson, which I don't think they would make about any other living celebrity.
Even we at Bloodmoon have watched the trail of the tone of negativity about Michael Jackson, and we believe that he has set entirely a new ground in terms of negativity, which can henceforth be used as the benchmark of equivalently negative things about future stars in a period of disgrace, if you like. For the purposes of ending the book in a coherent way, and we really did want an April 1st release of this book, it ends shortly after his having attended the funeral of James Brown in Augusta, Georgia. The book is to be viewed as an overview of the issues swirling around Michael Jackson, the stratospheric levels of importance of the politicians, the artists, and the media contacts who were involved with indulging Michael or reacting to Michael. It's a book about American media as much as it is about Michael Jackson. Jane Fonda is sort of an example of someone who was just fascinated by Michael. Elizabeth Taylor was fascinated by. I think.
Was it that he really wanted to marry Elizabeth Taylor? Was that something I read?
That is for the reader of the book to decide whether that was done for publicity purposes, mutual benefit of Elizabeth Taylor and Michael Jackson by thereby keeping their respective names in the press more. There are, despite Miss Taylor's many admirable work, there is some gray shadows in her continued nurturing of Michael.
So essentially, your book raises the questions, gives the evidence, gives the arguments of both sides, and leaves it for the reader to come to their own conclusions on various matters. And I look forward to seeing what kind of reviews you get on this book.
I would hope that the reviews are kind and we are indeed reporting an aspect of American history, and that we indeed have Michael Jackson and his talent.